Good evening, everyone. I am reading from Once Upon a Fairer Time, classic tales revised in rhyme. And the story I've chosen at the moment is Rumplestiltskin. I'll read you the author's note, and then I'll also show you the beautiful illustration by my husband, Clive Solomon. This is our first collaboration together. And then I'll read the story. Rumplestiltskin, author's note. I have never thought that the schadenfreude, the delight we all feel at Rumpelstiltskin frustration, is entirely fair. The little man stamps his foot through the floor, and we all find this funny. The queen makes him a promise. Should she be permitted to break it without making every effort to accommodate the little goblin? I think not. And here is the beautiful illustration by Clive. I'm just seeing if I can get it into, there it is. And now I'll read the story. There once was a girl named Isolde, whose heart was as pure gold. But her father was greedy, and so was the king. They thought caskets of treasure a very fine thing. They never saw power in beauty or flower, just the flutter and flicker of gold and its glitter. Now, it so happened the girl has light hair, plaited and silken, lustrous and fair. Like spun gold, says her father, boast bold, for when magic the spinning takes hold, she spins here and there with miraculous flair, changing hay to make hair of pure gold. This joke was in terrible taste, but the king says, make haste, oh, make haste. This girl she must spin, I will lock her right in. She may start with the straw in my bin. In the morning I'll fetch you and see if the gold she has spun is for me. If she has done it, forsooth, I'll be pleased in fine truth, and the happiest king I will be. There was no mention what if the straw remained like hay on the floor. No one quite liked to ask if failure of task was breaking some horrible law. So the girl, the sobbing Isolde, was set grimly to spinning the gold. Though nobody's fool, she could only spin wool, and not from barn hay 5 days old. Now you might think her quite sunk in her grief, but the scene has a marvellous relief. A person of magic, I foresee something tragic, spins straw to the finest gold leaf. In exchange he asks for a child. Isolde thinks this rather quite mild, for she knows she has none, neither daughter nor son, so a promise is sealed and spell sprung. Now, to cut a long story short, the king, with scarcely a thought, is so pleased with Isolde and his spinning of gold, he waits her in front of his court. And in time, a baby arrives, blissfully cute, alertly alive. Yet the queen grows uneasy, decidedly queasy, lest a promise will somehow survive. And lo, one terrible June, the spinner arrives at noon. The queen says, full weeping, the baby is sleeping, and I love it past stars and the moon. Please, she says, seize my doves, or my rings, or my gowns, or doeskin gloves. Take the fruit from my trees, whatever you please, but leave a prince for me to just love. Now, after haggling quite mad and insane, the spinner asks the queen to guess name. 3 chances I give, 'cause I'm kind, but this bargain, I fear, will bind. If after 3 days my name still haze, this child will surely be mine. So the queen thinks of Bob, Rex, and Todd, then Marvin and Peter and Rod. She thinks of Brendan and Gary, Martin and Barry. She doesn't stop guessing and prod. But of course his name's all wrong. The spinner just spins her along. On the last of these nights, she creeps from the palace with snowy white horse and lady's maid Alice. She comes to a mountain, she comes to a house. So quiet she treads, so quiet as mouse. And this is the song she hears. Tonight, my plans I make. Tomorrow, the baby I take. The queen will never win the game, for Rumpelstiltskin is my name. The queen is overjoyed. With next to no malice, she hugs her dear Alice, for now the baby is hers. She practices Rumpelstiltskin, Rumpelstiltskin, till she can say it fluid as chapter and verse. The next day the spinner returns with some smiles. Am I Dylan or Matthew or Miles? Am I Peter or Paul? Have you thought of them all? Tell me now, to end these long trials. The Queen so glad, so happy and gay, guesses Carlton and Richmond and Ray. The spinner delights and says, oh, you benighted, the baby is mine, I dare say. Then the Queen yells, Rumplestiltskin! And the world goes a deathly still. Rumplestiltskin looks cross and quite ill. One booted shoe high, he kicks in the sky, his looks are quite ready to kill. Then with a burble of anger quite bright, he stamps his foot right on the right. Stamp, 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 he ramps up the amp, his face bright as fire, his eyes slightly damp. He stamps so hard, floor buckles like card. The Queen's promise unbound dissolves in the ground. Now the story should really end here, but Rumple proves rather a dear. He just wants a baby, not even a lady, and he's waited for more than a year. And shouldn't a vow be kept? Rumple's only collecting a debt. The Queen's made a promise, she wants to be honest, but the baby is hers to protect. So Rumple becomes a godfather honoured. The floor is now fixed, the floorboard's much harder. There's joy in the palace and milk in the larder. He and the child are adorably wild. No stamping or stomping, the ballroom's fresh tiled. But dancing and prancing and lots of safe harbour. They'll laugh in good time at this golden straw saga. And the king has become more reasonable, for bad temper is rather unseasonable. With the Queen and dear Princess less instance to wince, now his demeanour's more pleasant and feasible. P.S. Rumplestiltskin now lives at the palace. He's fallen in love with that lady's maid, Alice. And that is how they live happily ever after. Hope you enjoyed that.